What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes catching up with one of the better fighters that we've talked to over the years. He's been on a roll. He is coming off a loss, but man, what a run all the way until capturing that title over at Bellator. It's former Bellator welterweight champ, Jason Jackson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing blessed and great to be here with you guys, man. You just don't know how it's the best. It's been 7 months since I spoke with you guys. It's a long
It
time now.
has. It has been a while, man, and it was a fun ride, man. For the last 5 years, you didn't lose one fight. You captured a world title. The last one didn't go your way. Let's react to that first, Jason. Um, what do you think about the prospects of building another title campaign, and all that? And what was it like being champion?
Uh, that's a good question. What like being champion? Because I felt like I've been a champ all my life.
Mm-hmm.
You don't become champion. You was born as a champion. Your mindset, everything about you,
Mm-hmm.
is something that you're born with, not something that you're trained or develop or you get along the way. I was born as a champion.
Is it
So
hard to stay hungry at the top? Because it's quite an accomplishment. And then a lot of people feel like maybe they relax and maybe the grind stops. Or in your case, was it just maybe not your night that night when you fought and lost the title?
no, it was my night, but I feel like my opportunity was kind of it wasn't fair for me. I felt like I would the playground wasn't fair. If I had to say it that way, it was a level. It was a level playground, so I didn't feel like I lost that fight, not one bit.
Mm-hmm.
The circumstance that was under was like the worst circumstance I've ever been under in my life of fighting, and I felt like everything wasn't organized, and it showed that night because I wasn't myself at all.
Now, just so fans or anyone that's watching this um, changes your words around or anything like that, why don't you go ahead and explain against Ramazan Kuramagomedov? What do you feel maybe was unfair about it?
Ramazan got to Ireland 10 days. I got to Ireland on the Wednesday of the fight, and I had to cut weight. I had to stick with all the obligation. I had to do everything, and then jet lag. I had to run to New York because Bellator slash PFL did not get my visa. I don't know how they got that issue. I traveled to Ireland. I traveled to Saudi Arabia. I never had an issue till that one night. So to me, that's like an unfair advantage. I had jet lag, all this stuff going into the fight. And I was so mad. I was fighting out of anger the first 2 rounds because I was just so upset that I was being put in that position and nobody had any lenient or empathy whatsoever. Like Jason Jackson got out here 3 days, still try to make the show happen. Let's not make him do all these media and do all this and cut weight and do it. I still had to do the same thing Ramazan did on 10 days. I had to do it within 3 days. Everything.
Mm-hmm. You want to cross paths with him again one day?
I mean, it's gonna happen if he's still the champion once he fight against the PFL champion. Because from what I'm hearing, the PFL champion is not in the competition.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's gonna happen eventually, if not, then he got lucky on that one.
Despite
Simple.
everything you said, all the challenges with jet lag, miscommunications, lack of preparation, on the ground, it was still a hell of a fight. 48-47 according to the judges, but definitely the later rounds were yours. That's where you were turning it on. So there's definitely room for any of us to say we'd like to see it again. It wasn't a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. But what is your future from what you hear, and how can you possibly cross with Kuram Magomedov again, cross paths with him?
My right now my focus is not him. My focus is to win the tournament and get the PFL title because I didn't get the PFL title. I got the championship. I got the belt, the champion belt, but I want the PFL belt saying that yes, I won the title. And I didn't win it based off a point. I went off eliminate every single one of my opponent.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. And well, let's talk a little bit about that journey that you're about to take. Can you maybe let us in on a little bit of your mindset and what people have told you, what to look out for? What are some adjustments that you feel like you've made here?
Nobody could tell me what to look out for because nobody have never fought this style of tournament. So
Mhm.
how is it they gonna tell me what to look out for? They never fought one fight, eliminate one, and you're out.
No.
I'm just gonna look at it, from my experience with the Ultimate Fighter and being in a house with competitors that you don't know if you're gonna fight when or who are, and you have to cut weight, be on weight and everything. I'm kind of experienced, and I'm just gonna focus on just winning. Once I win, everything else will take care of itself.
You know, when we talk to people from your gym, they often talk to you about your leadership skills and how you become a bit of a leader in the gym. Can you maybe share, like, what do you think is the theme for the gym this year and the theme for yourself?
I don't have a theme, tell the truth. My only theme is just do all the good I can, however I can, because that's all people remember, and that's the only thing I leave an impact on people is the good that you do.
You talked about fighting angry in the last fight. Do you feel like you've shed that, or could you maybe say that coming up here, you're going to be fighting angry still?
No, you know why? Because I fought angry before already on a contender and I broke my leg. So, and I fought angry on the Ultimate Fighter and I break my hand. So now it's just now I fought and it cost me my title. So now I have to take this in consideration and just go have fun, be the best Jason Jackson I can be out there. That's when I'm unstoppable, untouchable.
What would it mean to win the regular season and playoffs and capture the belt with the big money prize? In addition to being a Bellator champion, what would it mean to add that second belt?
It will mean everything, everything in the world to me, my family, and my teammate, and my country that's watching. And it will get put me in a position to actually call my shot, and be one of the playmaker, the needle mover for the company, and you know, being a champion again.
Jason, let me ask you a question, and this is gonna sound borderline like I'm being a stereotypical fella or whatever, and I'm not. But man, every time I watch the Olympics, it's the USA against Jamaica in track and field. So I wanted to ask you, did you have wheels when you were growing up too? Are you fast?
I, of course, I'm fast. It's in my DNA, my genetics. The
Did you ever
fiber
run track?
is twitch muscle, and the same thing. I'm glad that you say that we're on the chart when it comes to leading in anything,
Oh
right?
hell yeah, man! I've seen some great Jamaican
So
athletes in football, soccer, in track and field. So for sure, and
why
now in MMA.
why isn't it PFL taking it serious and take Jason Jackson to Jamaica? Why
That's a
isn't
good
that
question.
happening yet? What's the international change going?
That's a good question. I'd love to see it. You think you guys could pack an arena in Kingston?
Absolutely. That's where all the tourists at. We have
Mhm.
Jamaica everywhere across the world that will fly across the world for Jason Jackson. Why not to Jamaica?
Did you run track when you were growing up?
I did.
Nice. All right. Any particular times? 100 meters, 60 meters? Any times? I'm pretty familiar with track and field times.
I mean, in us in school, we have days like relay day, day
Mhm.
when everybody just run. I'm trying to remember what it is. It's not cross country day, but we used to have days when it's just natural. When it's like it's a day when everybody, all school come together, we just run against each other.
Yeah.
So running is like something that we do in our sleep.
I love all sports. So like when I know that the USA is wrestling, I know that their rivals are like Russia and Cuba and Iran. When the US is doing hockey, obviously Sweden, Canada. But man, when it's time for the track, it's the Jamaicans that give us the most fits, and a lot of times we come up on the losing end. So respect to that country, man. Track and
Yeah,
field, that those
it's
are some phenomenal athletes there.
it's a lot of other sport than track and field that Jamaican dominate, but just don't get no light shed on them.
Hmm.
Just
Well,
like
I'm
this
glad.
with MMA, just like MMA, I dominate MMA, but I'm not. Ain't no light being shed on me. They said it on the American Jamaican fighter or the British Jamaican MMA fighter, but it's never the Jamaican fighter, which is me.
Well, hopefully, maybe this will resonate and PFL will take notice and hopefully go to that beautiful island of yours. I'd love to see it. One last question. A lot of your fellow Bellator alums, like yourself, some of them have tried to leave the PFL and maybe go to one championship or probably the UFC. Is that something that ever entered your mind, or was the PFL able to get your attention and, make an attractive offer that allowed you to stay to do the regular season and now and hopefully the playoffs as well?
You sound like a manager, like you know what you're doing.
Well, I ask it respectfully, but it is news, so I feel like it should be covered.
Nah, for sure. PFL take care of me for sure, and so did Bellator. Everywhere I go, like I said, I'm always willing to do what they tell me and more to show them like this is what I deserve, and they listen.
Well, I'm glad they took care of you, and I can't wait to see you participate in that season and go after that second belt. That'd be pretty epic because that run at Bellator you had was pretty sweet. You knocked off some good names along the way as well, so respect for that. And thank you so much for your time here on MMA Junkie Radio. It's always a blast talking to you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me. It's a blessing.
All right, take care, Jason.